What is up, members? We're going to be talking about the book club book review, and what I'm doing there, we're talking about Katabasis. So banged out this book in so I read like 2 chapters at the beginning of February. Then I was like, I don't feel like reading, don't feel like reading. Then banged out the rest of the book in like 2 days, maybe 2.5 days. Okay, so I have read 3 R.F. Kuang books now. So I've read Katabasis, Babel, and Yellowface in reverse order, I think. Maybe, I don't remember if I read Babel or Yellowface first, actually. I'm not 100% sure there. But I've read 3 of her books. I've not read any of the Poppy War books, and I think maybe she has other standalone books as well. I'm not 100% sure there. So, of the 3 I've read, I felt like Katabasis was the weakest for my own personal enjoyment. I still probably think Babel is highest on the list for me. So, Katabasis. Let's start off with the good, actually. The positives for Katabasis is I really like the character writing. I really like the character interactions. So, I like that our, main characters are just kind of, they feel real. There is, they have their own goals, they have their own pursuits, but also they have their own secrets that they are maybe ashamed or unwilling to tell to each other. And then also even the side characters are also the same, where they don't actually divulge full information about themselves to each other because they are very human. They are afraid, they're scared to say things to each other, how they're going to be perceived, how they're going to be judged. The character conversations are good, as in the dialogue feels pretty believable. There's not a lot of exposition in the dialogue, and when there is exposition, it's kind of when the characters are in a place where they kind of have to expropose, is that a word? Exposition to each other. Exposition is more so like a movie thing. I wouldn't really say it's a book thing, but they kind of have to divulge information to each other because they're kind of in a situation where they must. And through that, I really enjoyed that. I really liked the character interactions. That, I think, was the highlight for me. And also, I did feel like, and this is kind of a positive, I felt like when this book came out, there were a lot of people who were like, ugh, to read this, they were saying R.F. Kuang's book, this book, is like a university student bragging about being a university student. Because I think she's currently pursuing her master's at Cambridge or Oxford or somewhere in the I don't know. She's got her PhD she's maybe going after. And she's got 2 masters from maybe Cambridge and Oxford. And I don't think she's that much older than me, so. But anyway, I didn't feel like that all too much either. I don't think there were footnotes in this book either, like there were in Babel. In Babel, there were a lot of footnotes. I don't think there were many in this one either. And yes, there was the kind of pretentious Cambridge thing, but I kind of felt like it was just part of the characters. The characters were very pretentious because they went to Cambridge, and it's not like it came across as showing off that, oh yes, R.F. Kuang went to Cambridge. It just kind of felt, well, I guess maybe the characters were kind of doing that, so I don't know, maybe that's Kuang just talking about people who go to Cambridge showing off. I'm more of an Oxford guy myself. My school wouldn't let me apply for Oxford, so I don't know why. So I like that. I don't get that criticism. I didn't feel like that was the case. So yeah, though that was mostly the good I got out of it. The character interactions, I thought that was really good. The not negative, but points that I felt like could have been improved. And I was talking to a TikTok book. I'll put I think they have a YouTube as well. They have got a podcast actually, which I need to actually listen to. So they were like, I feel like there's something missing in this book. And I'm not 100% sure what is missing, but what I felt was missing, well, not missing, but what I felt could have been changed was there was so many. This is a long book. It's 600 pages as a massive hardback. I felt that they could have done fewer subplots, or the subplots could have gone a little bit faster, especially in the middle. So, main plot. Our main characters are trying to get their, what is it? I would call them a tutor, academic advisor. No, yeah, academic advisor is the correct word. They're trying to rescue him because, as far as we know, our main character has, resulted in his death. But, that's the main plot, and they have to go through hell, obviously. There's magic in this world, and I felt like the magic system wasn't... The magic system made sense as well. Magic systems oftentimes are difficult to kind of understand. I watched a very interesting video from Religion. Is it Religion for Breakfast? I can't remember if it's Religion for Breakfast or the other guy. He did a whole video on magic, fantasy magic, and I thought his video was quite good as well. But I didn't think the magic system was bad here. I feel like magic systems oftentimes are either not sturdy enough or too sturdy, and I think this kind of went a little bit into the too sturdy section, but kind of it wasn't that confusing. There was still World War I, World War II, and then they weaved magic into all of it. So kind of not like Harry Potter, where the goal of the Fantastic Beasts movie is to allow the Holocaust to happen because magic shouldn't be involved, apparently. But this one, magic is interweaved into the society. So that was good, actually. That's another good thing. The magic system was good enough, in my opinion. But that's the plot. They have to go through hell to get him. But they get sidetracked. There's this whole thing that happens, and they get sidetracked. And I guess it kind of felt like they were doing this main plot, but then one key subplot came up, and that subplot almost felt like it was the main plot. And then afterwards, she went and completed the quest. I can't think of a video game example of this. So, you're doing your main quest, something happens, and that becomes the main quest. But then you're like, oh wait, actually, it's like a Pokemon game, actually. It is like a Pokemon game. Listen, hear me out. Katabasis is like Pokemon. So, your goal in Pokemon is to beat all the gym leaders. Okay. But when you're playing, oftentimes you then encounter the evil team or something. So Team Rocket, Team Plasma, whatever. You encounter them and you realize they're the main plot. So then, you go off, you go here, and you do this. And you're like, okay, I've done the main plot. And then you're like, oh, wait, I need to beat the Elite Four now. And then you go back to the main plot. And that's kind of how Katabasis is. That is my explanation of Katabasis. But that was my main problem, because I was like, I kind of don't care about the main plot. And it did end in such a way where, yes, the characters grew from that side plot and it made the main plot maybe less important. But it it felt, I don't know, that just felt a little off for me. And there were other subplots as well, which I thought were far more important. But even though the subplots were related to the main plot, one subplot was related to the main plot, the second subplot, the big subplot, that didn't connect. It didn't connect. That's the problem. It didn't connect. At least in the first Pokemon game, Red and Blue or Red and Green. Also, that game is being re-released on the Nintendo Switch 2 in yesterday of this video. No, two days as of this video coming out. If I put it out on Wednesday, and I'm gonna buy it, even though it's £15, and I've already played this game multiple times. But capitalism, But Pokemon, yes. Why is it like Pokemon? At least in Pokemon, the first one at least. You beat, spoilers for a game that's about 30 years old, by the way. It is 30 years old as of this Friday. You beat the leader of Team Rocket, but then he is the 8th gym leader. So then that links Team Rocket to that, and he's like, all the bad things I did in Team Rocket, I'm going to change it when I become the gym leader. It links. Whereas in this, that big subplot very tangentially links, because but it's not, the two aren't connected. It is the actions of the main character that connect them, and that's a very weak connection. But that out of the way, I kind of get it. That thought process actually just came to my head now. Katabasis is like Pokemon. So, That was my main problem with this book. I gave it a 7.25, a 3.25 on Storygraph, which I think is a decent, and like, you know, I think people underestimate the 3-star book. 2.5 for me, fine book. Anything above 2.5 is a good book. 4 stars, great book. 5 stars, perfect, immaculate book. So above a 3 is still a good book, in my opinion. So that was my thoughts on Katabasis. I felt like the character building was good, the magic system was good. The world building, obviously, you know, they're leaning heavily on scriptures and epic poems about hell and stuff. So, you know, that world building is already there for them, and she's kind of like trying to mush them and added like an academic perspective to it. That's fine. World building was fine. The main issue was the plot. The plot kind of went off to the side, and then they went back to it, but there wasn't a connection between the side plot and the main plot. Really. Like, there was a very loose thread, and that loose thread didn't really connect very well for me. So those are my thoughts on Katabasis. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about Katabasis. Now, it's time to announce the March book for the book club. It is, I could just use a drum roll sound effect actually. It is My Name is Leon. We're going to be reading this book. It is going to be quite, I think, tense. It's going to be a little bit, I think I'm going to be in my feels reading this. I'm going to be like, not like a, oh, so cute in my feels, and a, oh, this is really sad in my feels. But I'm looking forward to it. So I'm going to put a link to it in the description down below for you guys to pick up if you haven't got it already. But yeah, also, thank you guys for being members. I really, really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the movie club video, which I'm going to be recording after this.